where the truth isn't always what it seems. Real estate masters step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's your real estate masters and their host, Tom Blatania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a absolutely 76 beautiful degree day here in sunny South Florida. It is 10:06 a.m. on WSTU, and we are Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed with Scott McAllister, George Matter, and the lovely and talented Carol Morgan. Happy Halloween. And Scott, you got to put it back on, man. You got to put it back on. Now, you got to go to TREUradio.com right now, TREUradio.com, and you got to see Scott McAllister's Halloween costume. It is just, he's got it here in the studio. Pretty impressive there, Scott. My, with a big sword.
Very impressive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got an absolutely wonderful show for you today, and we got all kinds of great stuff. And don't forget to go to TREUradio.com if you'd like to watch and listen in the studio, and you'll be able to hear and see all the stuff that we got going on here with Scott's costume. We're going on here, so not a worries. But here on the phone with us, we have a very special guest. I guess you kind of say a little bit outside the box for us, but still, we're all about giving it back to the community.
Right. And it's all about important things, what is important to this community.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and this is very important.
On the phone with us, we have Dave Heaton. Dave, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. On a nice Halloween day. You got any big plans for Halloween?
Oh, I'm probably going to do what a lot of people in this community are going to do and go to the air show.
Oh, well, there you go. The air show started today or yesterday?
This evening.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I was just at the ribbon cutting with the Palm City Chamber, and it looks real exciting.
Now, do you think that's going to put a damper on the actual Halloween trick-or-treating thing, or no? No.
It'll just add to it.
It'll just add to it?
Okay.
Is it going to be trick-or-treat?
Jet planes flying over.
Yeah, there you go.
Passing out candy. Wonderful. Well, Dave is the Executive Director of Children's Services Council of Martin County. Dave, tell us a little bit about what you do and a little bit about the Children's Services.
Well, the Children's Services Council is an independent special taxing district of local government that was created here to enhance the lives of children in Martin County and enable them to reach their full potential by investing in early intervention and primary prevention. We've been around since 1988, and we have currently 4 funding priorities that we're working on, and that's healthy children, strong families, safe communities, and success in school and life.
Sound like good things?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Now, what would you say, and it's not necessarily in the order of some of the questions we were talking about, but what would you say the biggest concern out there is right now with the children's services, or the children, I guess you would say?
Well, one of the things we've been working on, a couple of things we've been working on. We do a strategic plan every 5 years. We do a research project that kind of points to what some of the concerns in our community are. And a couple of things that came up in our last iteration of that plan was that we only have about 58% of our third graders who are reading on grade level.
Ouch.
That's a concern, because if you're not reading by third grade, up until that point you're learning to read, but after that point you're reading to learn, and you don't benefit from the classroom education unless you read pretty well and comprehend pretty well. So we have been working hard on that one. We also learned through that research that we have a pretty challenging circumstance out in our western communities with children who are overweight and are not perhaps eating proper diets and struggling with health issues. So those are 2 things that we've identified recently that we're working on.
Why do you think that the children aren't reading at the third grade level?
Well, part of it is that a lot of our families, unfortunately, don't have access to reading materials in their home. You know, if you don't see words, if you don't know words, and you don't see them, you can't read them. So a lot of our early education efforts have been focused on developing a process where there's materials in the home. We have just implemented what we're calling, or we called last summer, the Summer Slide Program. And in summer, when kids leave school, a lot of kids don't really do anything to enrich their summer experience, either for economic reasons or other reasons. So we put in place last summer, with the partnership with the United Way and the Community Foundation of Martin County, a program that is enriching and perhaps improving what we're calling the Summer Slide, which is kids who enter the summer reading at one level, and then after summer, after no enrichment activities, no opportunities to read, they slide back a couple steps and therefore hit school with a bit of a deficit. And if that happens repeatedly over time, you get eventually a deficit that hits that third grade, and they're not able to read by third grade. So it's important to have some educational experience in the summer as well as recreational experience, and sometimes integrating the two is critical.
And if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Dave Heaton, who's the Executive Director for the Children's Services Council of Martin County. And we have 1012 right here. Now, if you'd like to watch or listen or miss any part of the show, you go to TREUradio.com. That's TREU radio.com. If you have any questions for Dave, which I'm sure, especially on a Halloween, I mean, Halloween, I guess you would say Halloween used to be for the kids, but with Scott coming in dressed up like that.
He's just a big kid.
He's just a big kid.
Exactly.
But if you'd like to call us here at the studio and ask any question of Dave, give us a call at 772-220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. All right. Now, Dave, the Child Services is on the ballot Tuesday. What's going on Tuesday, and what are they actually voting for?
We are, and thank you for bringing that up. We are actually, for the first time in our 25 years, going back to the ballot for reauthorization of our taxing authority. In order to continue offering this dedicated funding source to the community, we have to get the temperature of the voters, if you will. After 25 years, our legislature felt like it was important to have our community weigh in on that taxation and make sure they were still supportive of it and supportive of the work that we've been doing.
Now, explain what you mean by the taxation.
Well, we are, by statute, created, a county commission ordinance created us in 1988, and then we went to the voter at that time to receive taxing authority, independent taxing authority. The statute limits us to $500,000 of $1,000 of ad valorem or property tax. So if you own a home in Martin County, you pay a portion of your taxes to the Children's Services Council if you look on your tax bill. If you own a home in Martin County that's valued around $200,000, we get about $45 to $56 a year.
Okay. So this is kind of important. Otherwise, there may not be a Child Services.
Well, that revenue produces about $6 million in taxes, and then we use a portion of that in our allocations to bring down additional federal and state match. So we bring down an additional approximately $4 million on top of that. So all in all, it's about a $9 million loss if that revenue source goes away.
And there's just besides what you're saying with the Children's Services Council, you guys fund a lot of other programs too, right?
We do. That's what we primarily do. We're a planning and research organization that funds not-for-profits and government entities.
So, Dave, tell me, for some of the layman listeners out there, folks, all this money, you said $9 million. Actually, we're looking at what, about $12 million total?
No, it's about $6 million in tax revenue. We draw down additional federal and state money that amounts to about $9 million.
And if you had to kind of do a quick breakdown, where would you say that money is typically going towards?
Well, 90% of what we take in goes back out in the way of grants.
Okay. Grants for?
Well, let me give you some examples. In Martin County, for example, we have a Healthy Start Coalition. Their
Okay.
mission is to support pregnant mothers and families who have young children. They offer a prenatal outreach center down in Port Salerno. We started that with them. That was designed to address an issue that we had in Martin County where many of our women were not getting into prenatal care in their first trimester, which is what many people have described as the most important predictor of healthy birth.
Right.
And that population was, at that time, primarily Hispanic. So we met with them and worked with the community and felt that it was important to locate a prenatal outreach center in the community where those folks lived, and in this case, down in Port Salerno. And they have served for the last 5 or 6 years as the primary gateway for improving our entry into prenatal care. We've gone from 56% of our women to almost 74%. So clearly when you invest in specific areas that are research-driven and based on what we know, you can make a difference.
And I don't think people realize how important, that prenatal health is, because a little bit of money spent at that period in a person's, development saves a lot of money down the road from health issues that one might have.
That's why your kids don't turn out like me. Why did everybody nod their head yes here in the studio?
Hey,
Wait a minute, come on.
Well, I'm not sure what you turned out like, but you're absolutely right. It's a lot more inexpensive to deal with these things at the front end rather than wait until we have a unhealthy birth and the child ends up in the NICU or in the intensive care and underweight. A lot more expensive.
All right. Okay. What about and how do you? Is it a board of individuals that decide which programs are to be funded?
Yes, by statute we have a 10-member board. It consists of 5 governor's appointees, so those are folks that oftentimes are your neighbors, individuals who have taken the time to apply to the governor to be a sitting member of the Children's Services Council. And then we have 5 positions that are designated in statute again, and that would be the superintendent of schools, a member of the school board, a member of the sitting county commission, the juvenile judge who serves in family court, and the secretary of the Department of Children and Families. So a portion of those are elected and a portion are appointed.
So do you have any kind of audit systems in place to make sure that the funding is being used in an efficient manner?
Well, as an organization, our budget is audited by an independent auditor every year.
Okay.
We also, one of our primary responsibilities is oversight of the grants that we make and the funding that we put out in the community. So it is our staff's responsibility to monitor and evaluate every program we fund, and we have a set of performance measures typically assigned to each program that point to the challenging areas in our community that we're trying to address. Juvenile delinquency, we want to keep kids in school. We want them to do well when they get to school. We want to keep them in safe, productive, educational places after school. So all of the programming is pointed at that, and we spend a great deal of time both developing the programs that we fund and evaluating their progress on the outcomes that we've established with them through contract.
All right. Well, we've got to go ahead and take our first quick break. Dave, if you mind hanging on with us, we'd appreciate it. We got some more questions we'd love to ask you so the listeners could kind of fill in on it. Now, 772-220-9788 if you have any questions for Dave Heaton, the Executive Director for the Children's Services Council of Martin County. You're listening to TREU Radio here on WSTU. It's 1020. We'll be right back.
Why is the back bedroom always so hot?
Because it's the farthest room away from the AC.
Judy across the street has the same house we do. She doesn't have this problem. They had CTL consultants work with their builder and architect to design the most efficient system. They even designed the ductwork system so that every room is the same temperature. Her house is the same exact size. It has 2 tons less air conditioning than ours, and it feels 10 times better in their house. CTL Consultants, they really made the difference. We should have had CTL Consultants design our system.
If you're a builder, architect, engineer, or HVAC company looking for a true professional to design your HVAC systems and provide proper energy analysis, then you should contact CTL Calcs at ctlcalcs.com. That's ctlcalcs.com. ctlcalcs.com to see how we can help you build a better home.
Hi, I'm Scott McAllister, General Manager of the McAllister International Team of Keller Williams of the Treasure Coast and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed every Friday morning on WSTU at 1450 a.m. I have a full real estate team with specialists in buying, selling, land and equestrian properties, distressed homes, and luxury waterfront. Call myself or my team at 561-756-0891 or online at treasurecoasthomesonline.com.
Hi, I'm Carol Morgan, real estate consultant with Keller Williams Real Estate in beautiful Stuart, Florida, serving Martin, St. Lucie, and Palm Beach counties, and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I have an extensive array of luxury waterfront and single-family homes. If you're looking to buy or sell, please call me at 772-631-1394 or go to StewartHomeListings.com.
Don't miss Real Estate Unleashed, Friday mornings at 10 on WSTU.
I'm George Matter of Keller Williams Realty of the Treasure Coast. I've been a residential realtor for the past 12 years, specializing in waterfront and country club communities. If you're looking for the right house to dock your boat, I'm the realtor to call. Please contact me at 772-486-4676 or online at matterrealtors.com. I look forward to helping you buy, sell, or invest in your next home. Please listen to us Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on WSTU.
90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Do you have a struggling business? CTL Consultants specializes in helping small to medium-sized businesses get back on track. They'll help you understand how your profit and loss statement works. If used properly on a daily basis, it can be the most powerful tool you have. And you don't have to be an accountant to understand one. Don't use a profit and loss statement? Then you need to contact CTL Consultants today at ctlconsultants.com or 772-882-5700 to get your business back on track.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, 1024 on WSTU. We got Scott McAllister, George Matter, Carol Morgan here with us, the top realtors in South Florida. We have special guest David Heaton, who is the Executive Director for the Children's Services Council of Martin County. Will be joining us back here in just another second. Hold on one second, Dave, but we have our segment of the show. It's Hot Around Town, where we find out from the realtors what's kind of going hot around in there with their teams. So let's. We always usually start with Carol as the lady of the group, and let's stay with Carol as the lady of the group.
Okay, well,
that's the polite thing
what's
to
hot
do.
around town? Well, I've just been busy training my team this past week.
Your team, good.
Colleen Craddock got her first transaction in. Her
Wow!
first
Congratulations!
Her first paycheck, her first sale on her contract. So it's been a good week. It's been a good training week, and so it's been a little bit
Any
exciting.
open houses this weekend?
Got 3 of them going. I have one going. Oh gosh, I didn't bring the papers with me, but I have one going in, 2 going in Port St. Lucie. One on Riviera. That one is happening on Saturday. The other one on Burlington is happening on Sunday. One in Heritage here in Hope Sound happening on Sunday.
Okay,
so
nice.
we have a busy weekend.
And if you'd like to find those out, just go to TREUradio.com and click on Carol's picture and the words down below. They'll go right to her site, and you'll be able to see all kinds of information about the open houses and all kinds of other.
Busy day, busy weekend.
And how about for the Matter team?
It's been really busy with buyers that are coming into town, coming from the Northeast, lining up appointments over the next couple of weeks. So it's getting cold up north. They're heading south looking for
snow going up there.
Absolutely. It's
going to be really, really hectic in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Just lining them up.
Line them up, and the weather has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Oh yeah. The buyer calls have been coming in like crazy. It's a good thing because we can obviously make money off of that, but we're trying to get more listings. It's like we got to really parcel things out, and so we're trying to tell Jane like, okay, you stop answering the phone. So I've been taking it with me everywhere because like George is saying, the phone's just for the people are really looking
to buy, but
looking to buy down here.
We need to get some inventory out there.
We do.
And we
still have people with seasonal rentals that are looking, and it's just not there right now.
Not much down.
Oh yeah, the rentals. I mean, even just annual rentals. I mean, the rental market is. I got people that wanted to move in at the beginning of this month, and the pickings are really slim out there. Really slim out there.
Well, if anybody out there, if you are looking to possibly sell your home now or in the near future, don't hesitate to give these folks a call. And Scott, what would be the number to call?
Well, if you'd like to give any of these fine realtors a call, you can leave a message at 772 444 25. I was about to give out my phone number, but I'm like, no, that's not fair. 772-444-2590, and just say which realtor you'd like to speak to, or just say you want one of the best, and I'll give you a call. No, I'm just kidding. But that's our Google Voice account. Please leave us a message. We'll be happy to get back to you, or you can post any questions on our Facebook page,
Absolutely.
and we'll be happy to get back to you on any of that stuff.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, whatever questions they have, somebody else has the same question. Yeah. They're just afraid to ask.
So we do. I do have one open house this weekend. It's the home that we talked about last weekend. The Evergreen property, the 3.5 townhouse down in Evergreen in Palm Beach Gardens.
I've seen your ad on that. Looks nice.
It is an absolutely stunning, gorgeous home, and you got to go visit the open house and go check out the clubhouse and see the kind of resort atmosphere that they have over in Evergreen. It's an absolutely beautiful property.
Beautiful property. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, that's what's hot around town for the realtors. Let's go ahead and get back to our special guest on the phones with us, Dave Heaton. And if you'd like to call and speak with Dave, 772-220-9788, 220-9788. Dave is the Executive Director for the Children's Services Council of Martin County. Now, we talked about that they're going to be on the ballot Tuesday for voting on whether to provide the taxation. But, Dave, what would happen if that reauthorization did not pass?
Well, if the reauthorization passes, the council continues doing the work we've been doing, funding 34 programs and run by 21 not-for-profit and government organizations, and conducting the research and planning I talked about earlier. If the council is not reauthorized, if this is not a successful ballot initiative, then there will be a year to complete our current funding and contract commitments, and that funding stream or that taxing authority would end. The council's assets would then transfer to the county, where there really is no obligation for the county commission to fund the affected programs or continue to offer the oversight and planning that we currently provide.
So what you're saying is if it's not reauthorized, you guys are going away?
That's what I'm saying. It's a do or die issue.
That's I don't like those odds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So obviously, there's a lot at stake, and when you're out talking to people, and you're speaking to people who don't have children living at home or children in the county, how do you address them the importance of still voting for this initiative?
Well, you guys were just talking in your real estate conversation about the beauty of this community and what attracts people to this community, and I think we have a wonderful community. We all enjoy. We're fortunate to enjoy a great place to live and a high quality of life.
It is a great place to live.
We have wonderful parks, beaches, high quality schools, low crime rate, a vibrant and active small business community. All things I think that would attract a real estate market. All of those things, of course, depend on a quality educated workforce, a sufficient tax base, and, in my opinion, investment in our future, which is our children. When babies are born healthy, we save tax dollars. We've talked about that. When our students are sober and focused, they succeed in school. When our youth have a safe place to go after school, they don't enter our juvenile justice system where our tax resources are used to incarcerate rather than educate. When our preschoolers are involved in early childhood education and they learn how to read, and their parents can go to work, they enter school ready, they graduate, they attend college, they return as contributing members that are ensuring our continued quality of life. High school dropouts make an average of $9,634 less a year than a high school graduate. And parents who are benefiting from early childhood education programs make an average of $3,000 more a year because they're able to have their kids in care and work. You know, a good friend of mine, Sam Bell, who was a lobbyist in Tallahassee, former state legislator, he said to me once, he said, you know, to me, whatever political affiliation you have or whatever you believe in, the most important single undertaking we have is our responsibility to care for the next generation of Floridians. So the place we should spend our money and spend it lavishly, in his opinion, was on children. You know, the point there is we all benefit from these investments, and we all benefit from the next generation's success.
Well, yeah. Look at what the children now are doing for technology, and I mean,
it's mind-boggling
how far they're coming. I mean, look at some of these people in Google and these different organizations, and just.
I wish they had those STEM schools when I was. I would have loved to have gone to one of those magnet schools or something where they have all the science programs, because I loved that, you know. But they didn't offer those when I was in high school.
Right. Yeah. Dave, I have a question for you. And we were talking during our break period a little bit. Since a lot of these children are in third grade that don't know how to read, why is that? I mean, if they've gone to preschool and they're in kindergarten, first, second, and now they're in third grade and they still don't know how to read, where are we going wrong? Is it within our school system, or is it within our home system?
Well, we have a lot of kids in the system, as you know. Teachers have very challenging roles and very challenging jobs. It's, you know, in a classroom of upwards of 35, 45 kids, it's hard to concentrate on individuals that perhaps come to their classrooms a little behind. So that's why I think the Children's Services Council's efforts and, frankly, national efforts have been focused on early childhood education and getting reading materials into homes, getting books out there, and in our case, getting those kind of resources and specific attention in the summer programs and in the after-school settings. Most of those after-school settings have the recreation component down pat. I think it's a new thing for them to get involved in education and working on developing readers and doing something that kind of assists the school system in their efforts. And we are working with them directly to determine both who the kids are that we need to focus on. The school system's been very cooperative in identifying those kids for us, and then reaching out to those parents and those kids to engage them over the summer.
You know, and I'm not a big politician or political person or anything like that, but just, you know, to me it sounds like that the school system is broken, and that we're falling the efforts back on the families so much, and now we're trying to support the families to do it. You know, maybe, and I see this all over the place with these people voting and how many millions of dollars they've cut, and I know quite a few teachers, and they constantly tell me how they're taking money out of their pockets. The school gives them nothing. They're taking money out of their pockets to fund their classrooms to teach our children. But yet, and this has got nothing to do with you, Dave, but yet $9 million a year goes back into your services to now turn around and try to compensate for the school's deficiency.
Well, it's really a front-end investment. School systems have a challenging job, and their resources, as you know, kind of ebb and flow with political process. So their ability to deal with this once it gets to them is challenging. So I think the key to this is to make early investments, and as I've said earlier, have those children present themselves in school ready to learn, able to read, and fully capable of embracing the opportunities that are present in our school system. And we have a great school system. We graduate a lot more kids in this community than many others. So
Yeah, Martin County is one of the better ones, but I guess it's a matter of what you're comparing it to. Martin County is great. I mean, they got some great ratings, and so I can't give them hands down to that. But yeah, I agree, and it saddens me when I talk to some of the teachers. I have quite a few teachers that are friends of mine, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Well, it's sad that education is political.
Everything is political.
Right. I realize everything is, but that shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, cutting $1.3 million, and my friend, she'll call me up and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, they just cut this thing out of the school, and now they're cutting this out." And I'm like, well, how are they gonna? Why do we have 45 kids in a classroom with one teacher? It's just insane. But I know that's not your fault, Dave. so I'm just going off. It bothers me because I see it. And I have 2 daughters of my own, and luckily, we've helped. And once again, we have assisted them to find the right direction in the school system. But if I left it up to the school system, it would be horrible. But so if people wanted to find out more about what's going on this ballot on Tuesday, what would be the best way for them to find that out, Dave?
Well, we have, like many people, we have a website. We also have a Facebook page. We also produce a newsletter each month, From the Heart. Those newsletters are on the website. The latest of those was a frequently asked questions newsletter, and it talks about the Children's Services Council reauthorization.
Beautiful.
It describes the ballot language, and I would suggest going to those places and looking at those resources. They should be helpful.
Now, what's your website?
www.cscmc.org.
cscmc.org, O-R-G, ladies and gentlemen, not .com. So, and they can go there and go, and the Facebook is under Children's Services Council?
Children's Services Council of Martin County, correct.
Martin County.
And David, I think we should give a little bit of a shout out to Suzanne Wentley, because she has been a tireless advocate for this, and that's how I found out about this whole situation. And she was the one that arranged getting you on here to speak to us. So I'd like to give a shout out to her.
I agree. Suzanne's wonderful. I told her when she took this job, you got a simple job. You just need to speak to every single voter in Martin County.
Well, she's doing her job trying to get there. I know that.
Has she spoke to you guys yet? Well, awesome, Dave. So now the council, how often do they typically meet?
Council meets once a month on the 4th Monday of the month at 10 o'clock here at our offices on Central Parkway.
Right, give me an idea, what are kind of some of the brief discussions that you're typically having?
Well, all of our decisions with regard to funded organizations come before them. Each month they typically hear from some of those funded organizations. They speak during our public comment time and on occasion do presentations. The council has to contend with funding requests pretty frequently. The state and federal government, as I said earlier, ebb and flow, and whenever there's eliminations from that standpoint, they often come to their local source, the Children's Services Council, to kind of help. So we evaluate those on their merits, and the council very deliberately makes those decisions.
Beautiful. Now, do you prefer people go to a website, or if they wanted to contact you by phone?
I love talking to people every day. I encourage people to come to our meetings, and however they need to get their information, whatever best for them. If they need to call, I'll take a call any day.
Okay. What would be the phone number if they were to call you?
772-288-5758, and I am at extension 103.
All right, one more time for us.
772-288-5758, extension 103.
Awesome. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to go to Dave Heaton's, the website there for, he's Executive Director for Children's Services Council of Martin County. If you'd like to go to their website, that's www.cscmc.org. Is that correct?
It is.
Boy, I remembered that. I
Good.
didn't remember my name when I woke
Nice.
up this morning. I had it written on a little piece of paper. Oh, I'm Tom today. Well, Dave, it was absolutely wonderful talking to you. I mean, folks, you guys have any other questions you'd like to speak with Dave about?
Now, thanks, Dave. Thank you very much for your
you.
time, and we just want to remind everybody to get out and vote next week.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think this is,
Yep.
You know,
It's a great cause.
it's a lot easier to get this passed than to get the bill passed to increase our funding for our schools. So if this is the means to an end to make it happen, then you folks need to vote. You know what? It's been coming out of your pocket already without you really. Some of you probably didn't even realize it. So you know what? If you're not going to miss it, then vote for it.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, Dave
Thanks,
and
guys.
Suzette, thank you very much, folks. You have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you for being here on True Radio.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right, well, we're listening to Dave Heaton, the Executive Director of Children's Services Council, Martin County. A lot of great stuff, so don't forget to go to their website, cscmc.org, and find out about voting on that ballot on Tuesday. It's a great thing. We're going to go ahead and take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a little bit of discussion about what Dave talked about, because I know I have a couple little things I'd like to bring up. So you're listening to True Radio. It's 1042 here on WSTU. We'll be right back.
90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Do you have a struggling business? CTL Consultants specializes in helping small to medium-sized businesses get back on track. They'll help you understand how your profit and loss statement works. If used properly on a daily basis, it can be the most powerful tool you have. And you don't have to be an accountant to understand one. Don't use a profit and loss statement? Then you need to contact CTL Consultants today at ctlconsultants.com or 772-882-5700 to get your business back on track.
Hi, I'm Scott McAllister, General Manager of the McAllister International Team of Keller Williams of the Treasure Coast and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed every Friday morning on WSTU at 1450 a.m. I have a full real estate team with specialists in buying, selling, land and equestrian properties, distressed homes, and luxury waterfront. Call myself or my team at 561-756-0891 or online at treasurecoasthomesonline.com.
Hi, I'm Carol Morgan, real estate consultant with Keller Williams Real Estate in beautiful Stuart, Florida, serving Martin, St. Lucie, and Palm Beach counties, and co-host of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I have an extensive array of luxury waterfront and single-family homes. If you're looking to buy or sell, please call me at 772-631-1394 or go to StewartHomeListings.com.
Don't miss Real Estate Unleashed, Friday mornings at 10 on WSTU. Why is the back bedroom always so hot?
Because it's the farthest room away from the AC.
Judy across the street has the same house we do. She doesn't have this problem. They had CTL Consultants work with their builder and architect to design the most efficient system. They even designed the ductwork system so that every room is the same temperature. Her house is the same exact size. It has 2 tons less air conditioning than ours, and it feels 10 times better in their house. CTL Consultants, they really made the difference. We should have had CTL Consultants design our system.
If you're a builder, architect, engineer, or HVAC company looking for a true professional to design your HVAC systems and provide proper energy analysis, then you should contact CTL Calcs at ctlcalcs.com. That's ctlcalcs.com. ctlcalcs.com to see how we can help you build a better home.
I'm George Matter of Keller Williams Realty of the Treasure Coast. I've been a residential realtor for the past 12 years, specializing in waterfront and country club communities. If you're looking for the right house to dock your boat, I'm the realtor to call. Please contact me at 772-486-4676 or online at matterrealtors.com. I look forward to helping you buy, sell, or invest in your next home. Please listen to us Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on WSTU.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to True Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. You can go to our website, trueradio.com. That's TREU.com. And it's 10:45, and we had Dave on the line with us for a while, Dave Heaton, who was the Executive Director of Children's Services Council of Martin County. And we had some great topics. And I guess kind of one of the big things that is still on our minds is just the issues of children at getting to third grade and still not being able to read properly. And Carol was bringing up a good point about some of the Latin community that the parents aren't able to speak English,
Right.
but yet the children speak fluent English
Right.
and are pretty intelligent.
Right.
and-
I mean, I have some friends that they speak very broken English, and some of them don't read and write very well or at all. But their and they're in business, and their children handle their contracts and stuff for them, and they interpret everything for them back and forth. They're phenomenal. The kids are phenomenal. So with that being said, I
Yeah.
can't believe that it's got to be a language barrier. There's got to be something more into it.
What has motivated those children
Yeah, I don't know.
to be George, you were kind of mentioning something. What's motivating those children? How are they setting themselves to do? Because obviously it wasn't the parent. Because if it was the parent's fault, that child would be just as bad as the parent.
Of course.
Right.
So so let's kind of take that away from it. So what has motivated that child? And you were kind of bringing up some good points about friends, family.
I think it may be a teacher, it may be a family friend, it may be a sibling. Somebody gets to that kid about the importance of learning to better themselves, just for their own future.
And and sometimes I think of this is that in some instances, is it the child's mindset that where they tell themselves, I don't want to be like that, and in some instances, and everybody's different personalities, and that child's personality says, because I don't want to be like that, I don't want to be where I can't communicate, I don't want to be where I can't read and write. That, like with me, I'm the kind of individual where if I'm in a sales position, real estate, I want to see numbers up on the board for everybody. But you know what? There's a lot of businesses that I go in to do consulting, and they refuse to allow that to be happen. Well, it's going to make the other people really feel bad about that. Well, you know what? That's the purpose of it.
Right.
The purpose of it is to take those people and motivate them to want to do better.
Create competition.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and competition does work, but there is so much of an attitude of that education is lame amongst certain groups of youth,
Right.
and even their parents, because they feel like they're embarrassed. They don't want people to think that they're smarter than them. My personal opinion is that it does come from the family and from the parents, but that's just because of of where I came from. Education was very, very important for my mother to us. Whenever I asked a question like, "What does this mean?" What does that word mean? There's a dictionary. You go look it up.
Google it.
I don't know. It was the Google of the time. But the Google of the time was our 80 volume Encyclopedia
Exactly.
Britannica, where I was like, well, what happened in this battle? Well, go look it up, and why don't you tell me about it afterwards?
There you go.
And every time I wanted, if I were at a store, you look at a toy as a little kid. I want the toy, but if I were looking at books, my mother was always like, oh, okay, that's something that I'll encourage. So for me, it totally came from the parent, that my desire to always learn.
Right.
But as George had brought up during the break, my mother was college educated, and generally when you are college educated as a parent, you understand the importance of education.
Yes.
Right.
So I think it's harder for families who didn't have the fortune to go to college to understand that importance. So how do we as a community get to everybody and say, look, it doesn't matter. Every education is important to everyone.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely, especially today. I mean, but it's still so mind-boggling that kids today can't read. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here thinking
There's a
about this, and I'm
breakdown
just like, wow,
someplace.
something's broke.
There's a breakdown someplace, and also the school. I mean, I look at the school systems, and half of the stuff that they teach the kids today. I mean,
Well, it seems like they're out of school more than they're in.
yeah.
As of
I mean,
late.
with all the
Yeah.
the holidays and the breaks and the vacations, and I mean, the school year's like 140 days or something like that. But Scott, you brought up a good thing, and I agree with that 100%. All year-round school.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even David brought up the point of the summer slide, and even when I was in high school, I remember it was being discussed, and this is so long ago, they still haven't done anything about it. But the teachers were saying the first 2 months, they were basically reteaching everyone what they forgot. You had to come in and here's your math again, here's this again, and I was always in AP classes, so I had reading lists. Like when they talk about people came back to school and didn't read all summer, that was foreign to me.
AP, is that for the
advanced
slow?
placement?
Oh, I thought that was the slow kids. I'm sorry.
I was in the short bus. But they had but no, I mean, to me, every summer we had reading. I mean, I had to read 10 or 12 books before I came back, or you'd be behind.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Now, coming from Michigan, we had year-round classes up there, and
it
wasn't mandatory that you had to have them. It was selective.
Yeah.
And the kids that did go to school year-round, the ones that I knew were so much farther advanced than the kids who had all summer off and were out playing. Now, mind you, those kids are in school for, I think it's either 5 or 6 weeks, and then they're out for 3. So they only have so the family vacation time is still there for them to be there.
Right.
They do get some break time, but then they go back. And you don't have that 2-month staggering part of time where the kids are just doing nothing. I mean, kids are so bored by the time they're ready to go back to school. They're ready.
Yeah.
They are ready.
They are. Exactly.
And my neighbor right down in front of me, my children they didn't want to go to year-round school. Even though their mother wanted them to go, they didn't go. And but the kids right down in front of us, all 3 of her children went. Those kids were bright little boys, let me tell you. They loved going to school. They were so much farther advanced in their reading and in the math.
Right.
But there was more time being spent with them.
And Martin County schools, we're talking about how there's a broken system. Martin County schools are rated higher than any of the surrounding school systems. St. Lucie County, Palm Beach counties. So Martin County, when you look that stuff up, I mean, I did the research when we're looking to move children down this way, and they are rated higher than any of the other surrounding areas.
And then we had one school last year that fell to a D grade, so that's disturbing because Martin County has never had that before.
Yeah.
That is very disturbing. So that tells me something is broke.
Right, and maybe that they are as good as they are. Maybe that's got something to do with the Children's Services Council, Martin County, helping to push. So, it's real important, folks, that you at least go and take a look at it, and make that decision for yourself. I mean, me personally, I don't have a child in this area anymore who is in those schools, but to me, it makes sense. Even if you don't have a child.
And you know what? It's what is it? $50?
Well, no, I mean,
household
yeah,
for an average?
A year.
A year? I mean,
it's like less than a penny a day.
You can't even go to the show for $50
Absolutely.
today for a family.
No.
I mean, I don't have any children, but to me, children's education is very important, and I'm passionate about it because it's not just a selfish, what is it for my child?
Yeah.
What is it for the society?
Right.
And, and as David brought up, we have a great, community here. And 20 years from now, we want this community to be great.
Right.
And so, you have to plant those seeds now.
Yeah,
Right.
and if you want the families to come in, because I mean, the families with that age group of parents are kind of what driving the community.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing more and more younger people coming into Martin County, where before it used to be, as more of a senior community, was a retirement area. But we are seeing more young families in
Yeah, I
Martin
mean, look at
County
half of the
than
people
ever
on this
before.
radio show. I mean, we're
seniors, except for Scott. Except for Scott.
She classified me in there.
Right
back at me. Right back at me.
What can I say?
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
But,
For a fight.
I think some people
Let's
might
put
be.
it this way. 2 of us have children all grown. One still has one in school and one has none. Is that a better classification? Come on, guys.
I think some people might wonder, we put we're a real estate, radio show. We put an entire episode about education, but I really think that shows how passionate we are about
Very,
education.
very, very important.
Yeah.
It is important, and I can say that I can honestly say out there, I voted to pass this. I've already done my voting.
Nice.
And so I believe in it strongly. I believe it's a good cause, anything for the kids.
I think that we can officially go on the air as endorsing this
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think all
initiative.
All of us are. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a lot easier to do this than to try to get them to increase the funding for the actual school
Right.
system itself. So if this is the easiest way to get to the means to the end, let's
Right.
make it happen.
Absolutely.
Or the funding goes to the prisons, which we don't get an option to vote on.
No, that's
Right.
right.
It's more expensive to to lock them up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole new subject. But,
but you don't get a choice on that.
You know, you go to prison and what? You get 3 square meals a day. You get to watch TV. You get to go out and play. You know, you don't have to worry about paying your taxes. You don't have to worry about the electric bill or the phone bill.
Envious.
Let's go plant some stuff in his car.
If it wasn't for Bubba, I probably would say, hey. But no, I mean, you think of how many millions of dollars go into that system, and then you see, isn't that like a correction institution right up here at the street in Martin County? What is that? The one with all the fencing? There's a school right across the street.
That's the jail.
That's the jail.
And then there's a school right across the street.
Yeah, and then there's a church.
I drove by that the other day and actually realized that for the first time.
That's the Scared Straight program.
Yeah.
They go,
only in
do your homework.
Would that ever happen.
Do your homework or you'll end up there.
All the prisoners are out there waving, hi, see you soon.
Yeah. I like that little girl that's walking down the street, right? Yeah. That would only happen in Martin County, but what can I say?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I've driven up and down that road so many times, but I think that it was only when we had seen, I got the email from you about Suzanne and Dave coming on, that it just, a bell clicked off in my head, and I'm driving down that street, and I look to the left, and I look to the right, and I'm like, I do a double take. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's a jail. That's a school.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed Martin County sheriffs seem to be the most polite sheriffs I've ever met?
They got some of the best gorgeous-looking guys. They came in our office.
I was there. I don't remember noticing.
I do.
Well, I hope you didn't notice it,
The girls
George.
in my office are just drooling.
Like, ooh, he looks good in the uniform.
And Scott,
But they are very polite.
how do you know how polite they are? You've been
I've had interactions with various
frequently
law
being
enforcement
pulled over.
people, but it just seems. I don't know if it's because Martin County, they're not desperate for money, so it's not like every time they pull you over, they're trying to give you a ticket because they're out there. All the interactions I've had with the Martin County sheriffs, they just seem to be very, very polite. And then when they came in to talk about how now they're going to be helping out the realtors and other people are going to other police agencies are doing that now, but for them to have been at the forefront of that, I think it says a lot for our local sheriffs.
Maybe we need to, since you guys have some affiliations, maybe we need to see if what we do about getting them on the show.
Yeah.
Sure, we could
see if they can talk a little bit about, maybe kind of reiterate what we're talking about here, and kind of a little bit more about real estate and how they're helping with that. I think that'd be a great idea. So give me some. You guys know them, but we can still help put something together. I think that'd be a great show.
Give you numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed any part of this show, you can go to TREUradio.com. That's TREU radio.com. The show gets archived, so until the next show, it'll be right on the very front of our page. You can go back. You can listen to any part that you might have missed, all the new phone numbers. If you'd like to contact the Children's Council, cscmc.org, or you give any of the realtors here a call, 772-444-2590. Okay. All right, great. Well, you've been listening to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, and as always, we end our show with a wonderful quote from Mr. Zig Ziglar. Look back in forgiveness, forward in hope, down in compassion, and up with gratitude. Thank you for listening to our show today. George Matter, Carol Morgan, and Scott McAllister. I'm Tom Platini, your host. We'll see you back here next Friday on TREU Radio on WSTU. Have a great and safe Halloween weekend.